We've been coaching youth baseball for over 20 years and have seen a lot of coaches doing some amazing things with their players.
On the flip side, we've also seen some cringeworthy drills, as well as messages that the coaches sent to their players that make us wonder what's going on inside that coach's head.
We share a lot of great drills here on our YouTube channel and in our online coaching courses at dominatethediamond.com. But we don't often talk about the drills that you really shouldn't be doing. Before we share some of the never do drills that we wish coaches would stop using, we want to invite you to our free preseason online coaches clinic happening on February 14th and 15th.
We've got 2 power-packed 60-minute sessions followed by a 30-minute Q&A, giving you guys the chance to answer specific questions for your team's needs.
Day 1, we're talking about the strategies for having a powerful preseason and developing a winning team mindset. You'll learn effective communication techniques and how to teach essential baseball skills to players of all ages and skill levels.
The second session will dive into how to create engaging educational practice plans and how to optimize your coaching environment. We'll also share some key drills for baseball fundamentals and specialized techniques for pitchers and catchers.
To join us, register for this free online coaches clinic using this link in the description. So let's dive into some never do drills in youth baseball.
All right, Coach Duke, not necessarily a drill, but a message that coaches send to their players. How about that guy that's always screaming from the dugout, just throw a strike?
Just throw a strike. Coaches, what do you think he's trying to do? He's trying to throw a strike. Think about it. There's a player 46 feet away out on the field. There's parents, players, coaches, everybody staring at one guy. All he's trying to do is throw a strike. So coaches, instead, give him something positive to do. Hey, stare at the glove. Here we go. Pound the strike zone. Just give him something encouraging opposed to the obvious.
Yeah, 100%. I always try to give them, those adjustments on the field where they're still thinking like an athlete, right? Because the kid's already out there saying, please don't walk them. Please don't give up a home run. It's almost like, like you said, pick out a spot on the glove, aim small, miss small. Pick out something small in the strike zone and attack the hitter. Make that aggressive adjustment on the field versus, his parents are already screaming the same thing, right? So he's got to know that we have his back as coaches and, we don't need to add to that pressure.
Another one that should never be done on the field is a coach at third base just screaming what he wants the players to do. How often do you see a coach that says, go, 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 and all of a sudden the player stops because the player thought he said, no, 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 or he's rounding third base and it's like, no, 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 and the kid just takes off running. Instead, you want to be bringing him. If you want him to go, then do this with your arm. If you want him to stop, you do this. Because when there's so much going on the ball field, you want to make sure that you have a hand signal that they can see. They know this is a stop. They know this is a go. But keeping your hands in your pockets, just yelling go, 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 or no, 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 that's a never do, cringe-worthy no-no.
Yeah, and even guys running from first to third. You got a kid that's now 60 feet or 90 feet away from you. If you're saying go, 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 he probably can't even hear you, right? So he's got to pick you up. I'm rounding second base. I got to know what my third base coach wants, and it can't just be, go, 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 or yes, yes, yes. I need to see what he's doing because everybody in the stadium's screaming.
What about that coach, Coach Steve, that has their players run with their hand up in the air when they're trying to catch fly balls in the outfield?
Yeah.
What about that guy? That's definitely a no-no.
That's definitely a no-no. And I think, coaches, they have good intentions when they say this because obviously we want our glove up to catch the ball, but you got to think the way the player is going to move the most athletically, and that is running like a runner and then reaching up for the ball. You running for a fly ball with one hand up in the air like this, your eyes are bouncing all over the place. You're not going to run as fast. You're not going to be as athletic. Yeah. So I think teaching the kids to be athletes, we like to do a lot of stuff with a dodgeball in the arm or a football in the arm. You almost want to pretend you're an NFL running back running for the ball and then reach up for the ball at the last second. That's definitely a cringeworthy one.
What about the coaches that line up their players on day one and he's teaching every single player how to swing straight down? So he's got the ball in the tee and he's telling every single guy, here's how we hit the baseball. We want to make sure that we're all swinging down to the ball. I know there's times to swing down, or we may teach kids, but lining them all up to swing down, I think that's definitely a no-no.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest cringeworthy coaching drills or philosophies is when coaches try to cookie cut everybody to do the exact same thing, right? Every player is going to think differently. They're going to feel different things. They're going to have different approaches. They're built differently, right? For the same reason why we don't teach every kid to swing up, we can't teach everybody to swing down. So, there are times for sure that I have a lesson that their hands are dropping, that they're swinging super uphill, that we'll over-exaggerate and say, I want you to try to swing down. But ultimately, we want kids to swing level and match the plane of the pitch. So I think any of you coaches out there that are cookie cutting and making sure that every player thinks, feels, and does the same thing, we're heading down the wrong road for sure.
What about that pitching no-no, where we used to be taught this when we were younger, the get into the power position, wave backwards, make sure your wrist is turned like this to second base before you throw the ball. Your pronated wrist in this position, we all did it, but it's definitely a no-no. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that brings me flashbacks to Little League because that was part of our throwing progression. We would get in a line, we would point the ball back to second base if you were a pitcher, and that was just, I guess a drill to get the arm up. I think as things have evolved, now in our throwing progressions, it's a little bit more athletic. Yeah. We'll do the rockers, the figure eights, the leaning forward, the leaning back. Again, there's a time and a place for almost every drill. If you've got a kid that's dropping his arm way down here, well then you might teach them to get their arm up a little bit higher, or teach them to get their elbow up. But I guess it goes back to my cookie cutting comment. We don't want every single player doing the exact same thing. Infielders are going to be more of a bow and arrow. Outfielders are going to be a little bit longer. So, again, cannot cookie cut. All right, Coach Duke, how about the coach that's screaming from the dugout, just make contact?
Listen, we're not just trying to make contact with the baseball. We're trying to drive the baseball. We're trying to instill some positivity and motivation. And that's, hey, drive the ball, hit the ball hard, swing as hard as you can, attack the baseball, not just make contact so we're like a robot and we're just, okay, I made contact. Yeah, but look, the ball went 10 feet. We're going to try to drive the baseball. So instead, swing out of your shoes, attack the ball. What are some words that you would say or a coach should say to a player when they're at the plate?
Yeah, I think when you say just make contact, you're teaching defensive hitters. It's one thing to just make contact with 2 strikes. It's one thing to go up there and just find a way to put the ball in play with 2 strikes. That's a great 2-strike approach. But how about 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 3-1? Hitters counts. We want to go up there and be aggressive. I'd rather a kid swing and miss. Now it's strike 1. But if you go up there to just make contact and a 2-0 count, you're out. Yeah. So I'd rather you give me a good, healthy, on-time, aggressive swing. Swing and miss, who cares? It's strike 1.
Yeah. Our preseason online coaches clinic coming up February 14th and 15th is the perfect place to see us live. We will share some of the best drills to use with your team to start the season off strong. Registration is in the link in our description. Thanks for watching and dominate the diamond today.